Good morning. Good morning, viewers, or good afternoon, viewers, sorry, across the continent of Africa. Good afternoon across the entire world, wherever you are watching us from. You are watching me giving this public lecture on debt, politics, and prices. This show is the Africa Business. Punchline Africa Television strives to bring about changes, positive changes on the continent of Africa by trying to explain conditions that can lead us to unrest, by trying to bring to the public some information that they need before they make decisions that they could turn around and regret. Across the globe, prices of commodities have risen, skyrocketed, not only in Kenya, not only in Africa, not in Uganda, not in Tanzania, everywhere. In Britain, for example, the prices of commodities have shot up. The factors that affect the rise in prices and the pricing are very clear to any economist. I'm not an economist, but I'm a political scientist who studies the trends, who has studied the trends of how economies can be affected on the continent of Africa. I'm not an economist, but a person who can analyze the events that could lead to a crisis. You cannot obtain a degree in conflict resolution management or certificate or diploma when you have not obtained, you don't know how you could, at the end of the day, in arbitration, mediation, in conflicts, how do you bring about a peaceful end to a conflict without knowing some economics? I'll begin with the word debt, spelled D-E-B-T. Everybody in Kenya, in Uganda, in East Africa, in the world talks about debt. The rising debt, countries being indebted, countries being swallowed by debts. What is it that takes a country to take more debts and borrow more in order to strengthen its economy? A country has to borrow. Kenya has to borrow. Whichever government you reform, whether today's government or Ruto's government or Raila's government, whatever comes out, or Museveni's government, or Samia Suluhu's government, or Mnangagwa's government, whatever government you have on African continent, or Johnson, they borrow. The difference with the money borrowed in Britain and the difference with the money borrowed in Africa is like the distance between Mars and Venus, or Mars and Earth. Why is it so? It is because there are difficulties. We don't have infrastructure. Most of the people in Africa compare us. Why is the price like this? Why is the price of the railway, SGR, so high, and yet Ethiopia to Djibouti was so cheap? It's because if you are actually studying voodoo politics and the voodoo economy of David Ndii and William Ruto of bottom up, you will definitely come to a conclusion that the rail line between Addis Ababa and Djibouti cost less money, and a query why the rail line between Nairobi and Mombasa cost huge money. That's voodoo politics, which David Ndii and his co-brother and others who believe in bottom-up policy, which is useless. The land in Djibouti is free. It's a state-owned land. The land in Ethiopia is free. It's state-owned land. You don't own land in Ethiopia. You own your life on that land. Whereas in Kenya, people own their land. Ancestral homes are their homes. There is nobody in Kenya who can go and throw you out of your home where your father was and your mother was or your grandfather was without payment. But the land in Ethiopia is a government land. The government can come and tell you, I'm sorry, we are passing an SGR here. In Djibouti, the same. So those who were harassing Uhuru Kenyatta by saying Uhuru Kenyatta spend more money on infrastructure must revisit their economic schools and classes and maybe obtain better knowledge that will help them not to discuss things that are not worth discussion. Debt also in Africa, the debt that we have from China and from other multinational agencies is as a result of the truth, nothing but the truth that the Jubilee government has performed. The Jubilee government has delivered. That the Jubilee government has put an infrastructure for any government in future in Kenya to be able to run its affairs. The legacy, therefore, of President Uhuru Kenyatta is firm. If I were President Uhuru Kenyatta, I would not have any worries. You have people who are documented your legacy. I am one of those who has documented each and everything. And it is here in my head, unless I'm not there at that hour, then somebody will criticize you and I will not stand up. But if as long as I'm alive on planet Earth, you will not come to condemn Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. He doesn't pay me to write my notes about the legacy of Kenya, the construction of roads, the construction of dams, the construction of houses, the putting up feeder roads, the putting up the main roads, the opening of the country to external trade. It doesn't, you don't need to pay a person to do that. It's only David Ndii who lies. David Ndii lies to Ruto to pick money for his home to survive. I don't. I'm a different crop of personality. That's why I oppose international agencies like the ICC and others, and I walk still high with my head high because I put facts. I don't oppose them because I want money. I oppose them. And I will oppose. I have that character of refusing to accept malcontents to wash over my body. I haven't seen any of the things that I've said that have not come true. I've warned the people. I've warned quite a lot of people that if you don't do this, it is up to you. Where are we today? We are in the same. I warned of a redemption strategy here in Kenya, that it is not a political process, it is a redemption strategy. People did not listen. Now we have it. The elephant is in the house. People who thought that I was wrong, and because I am Paul preaching to the Jews, shame on you now. You can see what exactly happened. I warned that there is a fourth window in this country called Kenya, where people politicize everything, including dead bodies and of dead people. Human being has died, is politicized. It is sad, therefore, that in this world, we still have people who lie for a living. And one of them is David Ndii and Ruto. Ruto is a man in government. Ruto claims Ruto is a ghost worker earning money on a position of constitutionalism, not conscience. Not conscience. And I repeat, Kenyans, mark these two things: character and conscience. Ruto has none. If I were Ruto, I would not open up my mouth and discuss anything about the economy or fuel. What still? Fuel, which you and your company and your family and your relatives and cronies have been involved in, and you have made huge amounts of money out of this fuel industry for a long time, until you are checked and your managing directors were chased out of these places. Your managing directors, accounts, payments officers, they are all in DCI waiting to be signed. You better fight very hard to find salvation for them, because all of you, including yourself, you'll end up in committee. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruto would be the last person to talk about debt, that we have ballooned the debt. Ruto schemed up a scheme which I want to tell people. Ruto brought out a scheme where he had one gentleman in the budget committee, head of the budget in parliament, and then he had another gentleman, the head of procurement. The man in the procurement is none other than the person we all know. And that person in procurement, is called Mr. Paul Gicheru. Paul Gicheru was the head of the procurement board that could bring about and look for tenders and pass a signal. Pass a signal to William Ruto and the cronies to apply for tenders. The tenders were awarded. Take, for example, the fuel tendering board. The Kenya Pipeline, the managing director is struggling with a lot of cases in the DCI. The former managing director, where did we go wrong? And then we begin to be liars. His Excellency Dr. William Ruto is a liar. He's a habitual liar. He has lied on so many things. He says he's in government. Now you come to lament to Kenyans who are not in government. You are not in government. You are in government. You are out of government. You are in government. You are on the fence. Ruto, state your position. If you are not in government, then why do you hold the position of a deputy? Yesterday, His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, yesterday on 4th of April 2022, Uhuru Kenyatta signed into law a parliamentary bills, among them 2022 supplementary appropriation bill, which gives credence to money paid, to be paid subsidies and others to pay to people. The newly signed budget, therefore, unlocks a total of 139 billion or trillion exchequer funds to be used in drought-related interventions. Additionally, 8.813 billion to the electoral body, which is organizing the elections, which are already marred with a lot of irregularities. I'm sorry, that's another topic that I will stand on this podium with this new technology to deliver. Later on, Deputy President William Ruto stood up on Monday in a press conference, as if he's not in government, at a government house, having eaten government food, having been given washed cloth on government money, stood and started blaming Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and what he calls government. Kenyans and Africans and the world watching, which type of deputy president condemns the same government which he claims and lies to people that he works in? If it is not a malicious man with a black heart, the very dark heart, who would like to see his friend collapse? Ruto is telling us what he should be telling the National Security Council and the cabinet. Ruto further goes further to tell lies about the date. I've given you the story on how he ballooned the date. Uhuru goes to borrow the money to bring it for Kenyans. Ruto steals it through corruption and cronies and takes it through kickbacks. That's how the economy of Kenya came to its knees where it is. The politics around the debt, prices, fuel, can be summarized as a regime change tool. And for those intelligence officers watching me or the security organs, a regime change which Mudavadi and Ruto went to Washington to sign agreements with George Soros is in offing. I'm here as a symbol, and you will thank me later, that believe me or not, Ruto is not interested in an election in Kenya. Ruto is interested in chaos in this country. And if you think I'm wrong, just wait, you'll thank me later. Mudavadi and Ruto are agents of George Soros' machinations that are silently funding their budgets and their election. A few weeks ago, and I would like to warn people that whenever you see Ruto going towards those Mount Elgon, Busia, Bungoma, Turkana, up to Nyanza down, unfortunately he can't go to Kisumu because people will see who is bringing money from where. You know money has arrived. There was quite a lot of confusion. Quite a lot of confusion last 2 weeks in UDA, where they almost came to a breakup because there was no money. Mudavadi and others went to Busia, spent nights in Busia. The rest can be told to security agencies. What happened there is a symbol. If they said they were not there and they didn't have this, I challenge them to come up and say, did you see us? That's in any case, it's a libel case. We can go ahead with them and we shall see who will not suffer the consequences. It is very sad, therefore, for people to politicize the question of fuel. The politicization of the fuel angle, viewers and those watching and listen to this lecture, is purely to regime change the government of Uhuru Kenyatta. Look at the number of panics. Look at the people who crowded at the petrol stations. Look at the signs of a regime change that can come, and eventually, what about if fire catches up? Look at the number of cars that were parked along the roads, the health and the safety, the theft, the killings, the theft of equipment. If you are going to look for fuel, you leave your car on the road. The inconveniences can cause a regime change, can bring people to the streets of the capital cities of the country called Kenya and Mombasa. Therefore, It is a tool. And those who don't understand and who don't believe me, I will be using this platform podium to tell the truth. Because it seems that people have not listened to the truth. When you tell them, they either say they know or they don't know. But if you don't know, try to find out whether there is truth or not. But there's a regime change mechanism taking place and shape in Kenya under the guise of UDA and the bottom up. The men of George Soros, David Ndii, Mudavadi Musalia joined up in New York with Abraham Singoye as the main conduit and the organizer and the linchpin of George Soros' activities in the Republic of Kenya. Him and the wife, they work together to mutilate this country. But there are no people. I can't cry beyond the bereaved. But as Paul, I will preach to the Gentiles. My letter to Philippians, the people of Philippi, one day you will thank me. So when you come back to the question of fuel, yes, there is also another bad side of our administration. The administration of Jubilee Party in explaining their policies. The government does not explain their policies in a language that suits. That's why Ruto has found a weakness in stabbing at President Uhuru Kenyatta. Yes, time has come to speak the truth. The PS of Transport, Mr. Kamau, comes up on national television, tells us about stupidity, complete. That is not an explanation where a situation of George Soros is working under. I'm sorry. I say my mind. Let them hate me. I don't care. I'm not paid by them. Neither do I get payment. I'm just a watchman, world watchman. I watch events anywhere, wherever I am, whether Zimbabwe, whether Khartoum, whether South Sudan, whether London. I speak my mind. I've spoken my mind to Tony Blair. Is he not running around Africa looking for? Is he not running around Africa looking for work contracts? I told him 1998 in Brighton that don't dismember Zimbabwe. Don't isolate Mugabe. Is he not? He's ashamed when he saw me in Kempinski. He couldn't believe. Luckily enough, we are all members of the Labour Party. I keep quiet. I respect him because he was a former prime minister of a nuclear country. But I used to tell him. So I am not afraid of saying the truth. Didn't I tell people about ICC? Did I go wrong? Tell me where I went wrong. I've never misled anybody on ICC. I have never. All my facts have come true. I said the cases were bugged, they were procured, they were faked. They are not good cases. They will not last long, and it came to pass. Nobody came to give me a medal for that, but they came to pass. So for this one, I must say the truth. The PS added more confusion than bringing us, because most people think Matsanga is here or Matsanga is criticizing Ruto. No, also where there's a mistake, we say it. He should have explained better the situation of the fuel crisis that could plunge the country into chaos. The prices of fuel. Kenya is a country full of brokers. Brokerage in Kenya is the worst thing that I have ever seen. Everything in Kenya, my viewers know it is brokerage. Brokers, even when you ask for the journey, you are lost on the road. Someone will say, Sasa, 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 Sasa. You see that? You are lost. You don't know where the house you are going to. and you put it down your mirror, and you want to say, wait, which house number is this road? He said, Mzee, lakini, Mzee. I don't know whether you have seen this, you people. Mzee, lakini sina, utaniona lini? This type of brokerage, black middlemen, increase the prices of fuel. And one of them is William Samoei Ruto. Ruto is more or less like Russia with all these things in his hands. Gas. There's a company called Crafton. It sells gas for cooking, for what? So many things. In Kampala, he's a big shareholder of Stanbex, which imports fuel, cheaper fuel for Kampala, but makes it difficult for Kenya and returns the same fuel. You know, do you know that some of the fuel from Kampala comes back here and sold at an exorbitant price? Jesus Christ. This guy is a syndicate. He has a syndicate, a web of syndicate. That's why he's able to bring Harun Yeyadin. Tell us Ugandans that he's a chemical engineer, then turns him into a vaccine factory builder, then turns him into mulimaji wa new fruits, a new farmer who can grow fruits. You know, the fig tree, the sowing of the mustard seed, and Mr. Hayadin can grow new fruits that he can get 15 billion by telephone call. That's the man you are dealing with. Habitual liar, serial liar. He still doesn't want to resign from the government of Republic of Kenya, telling lies, condemning the government where he's siphoning a ghost worker earning salary, and office paid, loudspeakers paid by the government, cars, fuel paid by the government. He condemns the same government. How mischievous would such a human being with his family and his wife watching when he's lying? If I were the one, and you are my father and you lie, I just walk away. I like the children of these days. They walk away if you are lying. But I don't know. This a man that you want to trust in this country. Therefore, the politics of debt, the situation of debt, politics and the prices is hinged in one item. If you look at the yellow ribbon of George Soros, that's exactly what they are proposing. They are proposing a yellow ribbon of George Soros. They are proposing how they are preparing, how they will come up. Everybody in Kenya is crying about the prices. The commodities have gone too high. Even when you explain to them that the war in Ukraine has also played a part, they say, no, Ukraine is very far. It doesn't affect Kenya, as if Kenya has no stock exchange index. And you have floated your Safaricom. You have floated your Kenya Meat Commission. You have floated your cement. You have floated your farming coffee industry. You have floated your cotton industry. You have floated your avocado industry. All these affect the Republic of Kenya because the index is affected by the presence of the middle of the war in Ukraine. Although the difficulties come when Africans come to analyze, is this war coming to affect us? The bottom line is, it is the same George Soros who brought about the Ukrainian war. The bottom line is that George Soros has a warrant of arrest from the Russians. He's the same one who took their money and built Ukraine, the first revolution of Orange Revolution. Does anybody listening to me know where it started from? Ukraine. Who was the main man? Is my friend George Morris, my friend Morris, Dick Morris. Dick Morris and I are great friends. He used to work with the Clinton administration, and I used to meet him so often in Sky News in London. We used to discuss quite a lot of international subjects when I was working together with the Sky News as their consultant. Therefore, I know what I am talking about. The Ukrainian revolution, George Soros took money from Russia and came to build Ukraine. Russia is determined. It's a very bad situation. We condemn violence. I do condemn violence. The Russians should have gone to civil courts and stayed on the civil courts. You can look for yourself who was brought in the revolution in Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to my conclusion, therefore, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya is a liar. He should resign and continue with his politicking. Then he can attack the government outside the government. You can't be in the government, about the government, with the government, and out of the government, and inside the government, then attack it. Who are you? You must be a madman. You must be under medication of the highest degree that actually confuses your head for you to claim to be a deputy president, because the constitution gives you the mandate to molest your boss. No more men with integrity. Resign and go. Why has the deputy president not resigned? Because he fear of the crimes that he has committed. I pray that I will see in May what might happen. But let God guide us all. Therefore, blaming Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta for the debt which he has borrowed to invest in infrastructure is wrong. Blaming Uhuru Kenyatta for the fuel prices is wrong, because Kenya is a country with structural obstacles, structural challenges. And I want to emphasize this, which will come out in the tape. Structural challenges. Kenya faces structural challenges. We duplicate things. The taxation on the fuel is beyond. The MPs leveled. Ruto came out and said taxes are good to collect. You can't stop the taxes being collected, Mr. Ruto, because you are in opposition in the same government. Kenya faces obstacles, structural challenges. That's why there is a ballooning civil service. That's why there is a ballooning duplication of work. Those are structural challenges. The third strand, Kenya faces a bad criminal justice system, where we could have traders, trade officers, to check on the prices, to check on who's selling the best oil or fuel. Why is the price going up? These officers and traders, trade officers in the Ministry of Trade are only earning a salary in the headquarters of the Ministry of Trade. If there is anybody in Kenya who knows where the trade officer is tonight, right now, call me. If that trade officer is checking on the prices in the market, that's another problem. A bad criminal justice system has bred liars and increased the number of liars like Ruto to continue to molest the same government that he earns a salary as a ghost worker. I therefore submit that in Africa Business Show today, and I will be coming in for this type of shows, because because my knowledge must be imparted to the world. Let other people learn from me. I want to say I thank the people of South Sudan for yesterday's or the other day's signing of the peace agreement. More so, I said when I was coming in the car that I will thank my good friend General Hamit. I nicknamed him Hamit. I said, Hamit, you look like a Hamit. General Duglo of the Vice President of South of Sudan, for listening to my advice and setting up an accountability. General Duglo, thank you. Brother, don't give up on South Sudan. The people of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta, don't give up on South Sudan. You have done very well behind the scenes. But my good friend, General Duglo, step it up. Let these two gentlemen not cause any bad business. We have fuel prices to contend with. We have a Ruto, a liar in Kenya. We don't need another war right now. We have an election with uncertainties, which is getting money too late, too little. Let's not have conflict on our continent. I beg to move that this is my school of thought. It is not anybody's school of thought, but it's my school of thought. I beg to move. Thank you.